What's good, internet? My name is attackslug, and welcome back to WWE 2K15 in 2021 on the PS5, because why not? Anyhow, yesterday, teaming with William Regal defeating the Real Americans, Jack Swagger and Cesaro, also defeating Baron Blade on pay-per-view. Let's see what today brings on main events. Vicky has nothing for me, which means I need more fans, which means it's time for Gold Dust. And yes, that does mean I am indeed ducking Tyson Kidd, who beat me in a Falls Count Anywhere match by submission. No thank you. But I do indeed welcome you to Tuesday on the program. Plenty of wrestling on both YouTube and TV last night. And I did watch all of AEW Dark Elevation, their brand new YouTube program that did indeed go for about 2 hours. So at 7 p.m. went into the Raw thing and was on during Raw. And I did watch the counter there of the amount of viewers. And honestly, they didn't lose that much. It stayed around 29 to 30K. Like maybe lost a couple hundred when Raw started and then came back up once that was going on over the course of that hour between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. And man, all well and good, but I'm not going to watch another 2 hours of Dark, it was just more Dark. Like, if you like that, great. But Dark is already 2 hours. So now you have 4 hours of YouTube programming every week, in addition to 2 hours of your usual AEW Dynamite taping. That's 6 hours a week, man. That's a lot. Now, Big Show on commentary, I'd say did a pretty good job, but man, he sounded just very monotone. And my guess on that is that thing is being filmed at like 3 in the morning, right? If you think that, hey, they filmed Dynamite for 2 weeks, so you end filming your live show at 10 p.m., and then you film the week after that, and then you film Dark for 2 hours, and then you film Dark Elevation for 2 hours. It's like 3 or 4 in the morning at that point. I can imagine he'd be pretty tired and not the most awake and excited to call a wrestling broadcast. So that's my guess on that. But yeah, Big Show did pretty good, but just his tone was kind of very just monotone. I'm talking and doing my commentary and oh, what a maneuver type stuff, which you need a bit more energy when moves are happening, Big Show. A bit more excitement. A bit more, oh my god! Like, just something. A little bit of something. But otherwise, for a first show, did pretty good. Kudos to Paul White on that. Now then, I'm not going to watch any more of that show because, again, that's just more Dark. And I enjoyed watching Dark when it was like 45 minutes, like under an hour, was fine. But when it got almost as long as Raw at a certain point, I was like, you know what? I'm okay on all these, essentially, job matches. Now, we did get a bit of Kenny Omega there. A little bit. And even a bit of Tony Khan. And that explained why we're going to have Omega fight Matt Sydal in like 8 days. So on next week's Dynamite or whatever. But otherwise, generally, it's matches and matches and matches and matches. Which is fine, but man, a lot more freaking wrestling. So, that leads us to the other 3 hours of wrestling that happened on Monday night, and that was a Monday Night Raw. Which again, you know, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. But Raw began with the blockbuster announcement that was announced on Twitter, apparently, that indeed it will be Drew and Bobby Lashley for that WWE title at WrestleMania. Which feels totally like, alright, look, as fans who are paying attention, we know that's the match. That's very clear when Lashley attacked Drew at the last pay-per-view. Very clear what happened there at the Chamber. But as fans, you want there to be a story involved in getting that shot at the champion. Not just, hey, we're announcing it. Which, sure, for Brock Lesnar, that works. But for anybody else, come on. And the fact that you're having Drew and Sheamus at Fastlane this Sunday, you could have said, hey, whoever wins between Drew and Sheamus at Fastlane is going to be in line for a shot at Mania. that makes sense. And we all assume that Drew's going to win at that show anyway, so why not do it that way? Instead of, hey, we're going to have this match just get announced on Twitter, confirmed on Raw, and then have the main event of Raw be Sheamus and Bobby, and we'll get to that here in a second. But it just didn't make a whole lot of sense. Just announcing it like that is lame. It's lame. You want a good build for Mania. This is not the best idea to say, okay, he just gets a shot. Which we assume he would, but make him earn it. Do something. But Raw did indeed open with Miz and Drew and Sheamus and Lashley, and Miz still wants a shot, and they're like, nah, Miz, that ain't happening. But Miz fought McIntyre, and of course, Drew won that match. 4.5 stars squash match. 100K on social media. Nice match out there. Thanks, Vicky. That ain't gonna help me at all, but thanks. I appreciate it. Attackslug defeats Goldust. What is up next for ya boy? Nothing. More tune-up coverage. Hey, speaking of The Miz, we have The Miz. I ain't fighting no Ray Rich. We're fighting The Miz. And so after Drew beat The Miz, put him in the Hurt Lock, tapped him out, and it was indeed awesome, I guess. We had another Braun and Shane promo, and I'm just like, it seems very much that they're going to have Braun and Shane at Mania, although they're going to have Braun and Shane at Fastlane, so I'm assuming that's going to lead towards Mania. And honestly, to me, I would have Braun throw Shane off the pirate ship at Mania. That to me seems like the eventual goal here, even though Shane's like 50-ish, 51, something like that. He shouldn't be doing that, but I guess he will because he's a McMahon, damn it. Okay, so Mandy and Dana fought Naomi and Lana. Dana wins, but Asuka came out mid-match, and Asuka and Shayna got into it. So Asuka was indeed cleared for her concussion and back in the ring, back doing her thing, and happy to see that. But man, this Mania feels very much last-minute booked, and it does indeed kind of like, look, it's the grandest stage of them all. It's your biggest show of the year. It shouldn't be being booked last minute. That's just kind of lame. Like, outside of Edge and Roman, which obviously got booked at the Rumble, like, matches otherwise seem very much like, hey, I guess we're doing this here last minute because whatever. Because it's Mania. They'll watch anyway. It's on Peacock. Like, okay. Alright. Now, speaking of some last minute Mania adjustments here, we had The New Day face off against The Hurt Business for those tag team titles and win those tag team titles. So, will Cedric and Shelton even be at WrestleMania at all, is the question now. Because after they won that match, out comes AJ Styles and Omos, and they want a shot at those tag team titles. They want the in-ring debut of the huge bodyguard Omos at WrestleMania. So, yes, that is a cool Mania moment. I get that. But, man, that really buries half of the Hurt Business. What even further buries half of the Hurt Business is having MVP and Lashley in a backstage interview afterwards not even mention that they lost those tag team titles. Like, focused on Bobby and Drew and Sheamus, and not even mention that, hey, your boys just lost them tag team belts. What happened? Like, are they even still in the Hurt Business? Who knows? We'll find out next week. Now, speaking of titles, there was another title changing hands here on this show. And it was not great. It was literally, I mean, look, it's a joke belt, I know. But Bad Bunny literally handing R-Truth the belt. And now R-Truth is a 50-time 24/7 champion. 50. Alright, but Bad Bunny loses the belt and doesn't get pinned. Like, that's kind of the whole point of titles, is you get pinned for titles. You can obviously abdicate, but he just handed it to him. It was lame. But R-Truth thinking it was 316 on 315 again was funny, because R-Truth is continually one of the best parts of Raw. Period. But yeah, that could have been handled better, in my opinion. So, we have the other somewhat blockbuster announcement of the fact that Mania seats are not on sale today. They got pushed back. 3 count. Bye, Miz. So pushing back your Mania ticket sales to me says they still want to push for that 45,000, and the city of Tampa has been like, yeah, but maybe not. So they have not finalized the amount of fans being put in that building just yet. But funny enough, yesterday, UFC is running a 15,000 indoor seat arena in Florida, in Jacksonville, and they're saying full capacity. If you think that WWE at 45,000 at a 75% capacity is irresponsible, 15,000 indoors, to me, is criminally negligent, UFC. People are going to die from that event, from attending that event. I'm calling it now. Outdoors versus indoors, when it comes to this kind of thing, does make a bit of a difference. But clearly, Florida is a Mad Max wasteland, and nobody there cares. It's all about the money. And again, it's all about the tune-up, fella. And so, now that Bad Bunny is no longer 24/7 champion, and now that Miz is no longer WWE champion, this feud can continue heading towards WrestleMania, fella. So it was Damian Priest versus Jackson Ryker in an easy victory. Elias getting beat up too, and here comes The Miz from behind with a guitar on Bad Bunny, and again, that's going to end up being a tag team match at Mania. Playa, holla holla. Now, we had Shane and Braun. It was supposed to be a match here on the show on Raw. Didn't happen, right? There was a fight, there was a brawl here. Shane did his elbow up the top to the table. It was crazy, but the match didn't really happen. And for some reason, Nickelodeon slime was involved here, and Shane covered Braun in green slime twice. And now Shane and Braun are fighting this Sunday at Fastlane, but I imagine it's going to build towards a match at WrestleMania. Why? Who knows why? But yeah. Alright. Maybe Shane will bring in his Raw Underground buddies and have that pay off somehow, some way. Where is Dabakato? Seriously. So, after that, Riddle defended his title, his US belt against Ali, and he did that successfully. But before that match happened, there was a backstage interaction here where they had a huddle for Retribution, and Matt Riddle rides his scooter through the huddle, making engine noises, and it was absolutely hilarious. Loved that. It was just so dumb. And how they kept straight faces with him doing that was just, you know, the mark of a true professional, being able to not laugh at him doing that really dumb thing. So, after that, we had Asuka beat up Shayna and beat Shayna in a match and wanted to wreck her teeth on the exposed turnbuckle. So having a vicious final boss Asuka, that's what you want to see. Now, as far as who she fights at Mania, that remains to be seen. But having her back is a thing you want to have on your show, because Asuka is really good at her job. She's really good. Really good. Now, main event was indeed Sheamus and Bobby Lashley. And why in the blue hell did you have Sheamus getting pinned clean in the middle when you had McIntyre ringside? Why though? Like, why would I care about the match between Drew and Sheamus at Fastlane on Sunday when you just saw Sheamus lose to Lashley middle of the ring? Like, that's just, again, dumb booking. Last minute, stupid booking. When you could have had the match for Drew and Sheamus at Fastlane be the winner faces Lashley at Mania. Would have made way more sense, but no, you didn't do that. I don't understand why. It's dumb. But Drew, before this match, McIntyre saying that in this industry, you don't want to guarantee things unless you can deliver. Because if you guarantee things and don't deliver, sparks will fly. Which is 100% a shot at AEW with the bomb and the sparklers and that whole thing. It had to be. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. And Sheamus gets his comeback, but no, walks right into a slug exploder. Sorry, fella. It's a power pin, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and it's over for you, Sheamus. Sorry, Sheamus. It just was not meant to be. You were simply a tune-up for Attack Slug here on the main event. And that's all she wrote. William Regal has a 1 good match left in him. He'd be honored to face me on pay-per-view. So yes, I will certainly fight the real man's man, William Regal. Obviously. Let's do that. And that, my friends, shall be tomorrow. I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. More videos right here. See you next time. And I'm out.